I don't know how big of a group this year. They end up in Baltimore.
Right.
This was just some new ordinance of the borough.
You can see the
The latest agenda?
That it is, yes.
Oh, good. I like the latest one.
Well, try it first, right?
This is just for review. We don't have to stop building action. They're the ones that.
North, south, east, west. Just move it around until he finds something.
But I was saying,
Sometimes you leave things on.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe you don't like it.
No, that's bouncing.
it's on the other side. Trying to raise it lower?
So there's two. Got it. There wasn't much.
No, that's good.
One adjust the angle.
Oh, yeah. It is. Yes, it is. Yeah, he switched there.
This is just a resolution. What
I'm not.
Second.
Congratulations.
Good, how are you?
So we got to
Evangeline.
How old is your little one?
3.
Close
Oh, it's
by.
gonna be a big Christmas.
Yeah, close by.
Farmington. One of those. It's great. Although Nancy goes every day
Well,
to help Sarah. So, you know, she had a baby just a few weeks ago, so.
yeah,
And she's not used to having
I had some, I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Since he's 13, I can't be big.
Please stand for a salute to the flag. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Borough of Seabright, in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, has provided adequate notice of the date, time, and location of the meeting to the Asbury Park Press and Link News on January 13th, 22. Filed notice with the Borough Clerk, posted notice on the Borough Office and the Borough website. This meeting is open to the public. Welcome, everybody. We have a roll call, please.
Councilman Bieber.
Here.
Ms. Bills.
Here.
Mr. Cashmore.
Here.
Chairman Cunningham.
Here.
Vice Chairman DeSeo.
Here.
Ms. Gorman. Mayor Kelly. Mr. Lawrence.
Here.
Mr. Lexi.
Here.
Mr. Schwartz.
Here.
Mr. Julio.
Okay, on to the minutes from November 22nd, 22. Any discussion or motion?
I'll move to approve them.
Second?
Second.
See, Councilman Bieber.
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore.
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham.
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz.
Yes.
Okay. On to memorialization of the resolution for third extension for Mountain View Villas. Any discussion about it or motion?
I wasn't here.
Oh, I'll move to approve. He loves to say that.
Oh, you just try to get them to say.
Second.
Councilman Bieber.
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore.
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham.
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz.
I abstain.
Memorialization of the resolution planning board approved to include the amended needs study into the redevelopment plan. Discussion or motion?
Guess I'm the only one making motions tonight. I'll motion to approve that.
Yeah. I'll second it, though. I know what it is.
Mr. Cashmore.
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham.
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeSeo.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz.
Okay, on to William A.G. Inc. Our application tonight. Good evening.
Evan's not here.
Mr. Chair, for purposes of the
Your attorney isn't here yet.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it's him coming out now.
Say that for purposes of the record, we can note that the notice was appropriate, so the board does have the authority to assume jurisdiction. Go, Kevin Honors.
Nobody ever expects us to move this quick.
Here it is.
It's been a while since I've been here. I was walking around in circles around the other building. I take it you're waiting for me.
You're up.
Will you speak to the number bar?
Howdy. Thanks for bearing with me.
Welcome.
It's cold out there. Okay, so you called us?
Just
All right,
as you were in the elevator.
thank you.
Jurisdiction.
And you accept jurisdiction? Thank you. So thank you for hearing our application this evening. I'm Kevin Asadi, Zager Fuchs, representing the applicant. We're here to discuss the site plan for 1106 Ocean Avenue, variances that would allow the enlargement of the existing second floor dwelling. No changes are being proposed to the street level commercial units, and no new dwelling units are being proposed, simply the enlargement of the existing single dwelling. The owners plan to move in, live there year-round. That's their goal, and that's why they're bringing this application. You'll hear from Mr. Gardella in a moment, and that's been their long-term dream. So the board has accepted jurisdiction, And without further ado, I'd like to call Steve Gardella.
Mr. Gardella, can you
Good
please
evening.
swear in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for purposes of this application, sir?
I do.
Thank you. Can you just please state your name and address for the record?
I'm sorry, my name
Your name and address for the record.
okay. Steve Gardella, 60 Oakbury Place, Shrewsbury, New Jersey.
Okay, Steve, so the applicant in this matter is William A.G., and it's a business entity. How are you affiliated with that entity?
I am the owner of the property.
Okay, and you're the owner of the entity, which is the applicant, is that correct? Okay, and why are you seeking to enlarge this residential unit?
My wife and I are looking to move down here, looking to sell the house and move back to Seabright. We were here approximately back in the late 80s. And we just, we love the town and we just want to come back. And this is a good opportunity for us to do it.
Okay, and it's your intention to reside in the renovations you're proposing in the unit?
Yes.
It's your intention to reside there for the foreseeable future?
It is.
Year-round?
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask a couple of specific questions about the site that maybe your professionals may not be as familiar with.
Okay.
Are there going to be any changes to any of the operations of the site as it's currently operating in terms of deliveries, refuse collections, or anything else?
No, there's not going to be any changes to that. We're still going to utilize the entrance and the exit that's currently there. So we're not going to be looking to disrupt anything that's going on the first floor.
How about delivery?
Well, however they do it now is the way it's going to remain.
Right, and that there's, can you explain the ground level? What do you have down there?
The ground level exists Alice's Kitchen, Playa Bowls, and Wildflower Hair Salon.
Okay, and those tenants, nothing in this application is going to modify their operations in any way, is that right?
No.
Okay. There was a note in the technical review letter querying as to whether you would be amenable to replacing the sidewalk in front of the building along Church Street, should this application be approved. Do you have a response?
Yeah, if that's required, absolutely.
Okay. And there was also a note in the planner's review letter. They wanted some clarification as to the proposed third floor and how you'd be using that space. Could you enlighten the board as to that?
The only reason that's going to be up there is there's going to be a stairwell on the inside of the property, or on the inside of the building, on the inside of the home, that's going to lead out to that room that's on the rooftop deck. So it's not going to be used for no bedroom or anything like that.
It's definitely not a bedroom.
No, not a bedroom.
Okay. I don't have any other questions for Mr. Gardella, if any members of the board do.
I just have a quick one, just for housekeeping purposes. The elevations show a garage door on the ground floor. Is that a mistake? Is that something that you originally thought of and then decided not to do? Because that's
No, what I want to do is I'd like to put a garage inside of the building. Right now, it's just a storage room. It has some mechanicals in it. But I figured if I could turn it into a garage, I can keep one car off the street.
But I was out to that site, that's your main service for the gas line.
Right, the gas company's already contacted me. They want everything outside the building.
They will move it for you?
They're gonna move it.
So unbelievable.
Yeah, I spoke to, oh God.
Okay, no, God bless you. I can't deal with these.
So the reason I asked is it isn't on the plan.
It's correct. It's shown on the elevations, but it's
Right.
not shown on the floor plan. So, as a condition of approval, we would, during compliance stage, submit modified floor plans to show exactly how that would work.
So will there be access from that garage to the upstairs, or you have to go back outside, or?
There'll be an entrance out of the back of the garage that leads into a hallway where Alice's is. And otherwise you can have the garage door.
But you'll be able to get upstairs?
No, the only way that you can get to the upstairs is by walking down the alleyway between.
That's what I figured, okay.
So I thought that might have been for storage, but you plan on parking your car there, so when you have
That's
curb cut and everything else.
Correct.
The driveway apron. which is now sidewalk, I assume, would become driveway apron. Right. Is that shown in the site plan? I don't know.
It's not there, it's not on the plan at all, which is why it's only the elevation. That's why I asked the question. And Dave, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what they were gonna use that garage door for, and I asked it in my letter, and if it is gonna be a garage, well then, there should be a curb cut, there's gonna have to be, modification to the curb and sidewalk, of course, and I'm the one that did put in my letter that, the sidewalk on the side street it's kind of spalling. It almost looks like exposed aggregate concrete, which is different than regular concrete. So it's up to the board whether you want to require, since he's going to be doing part of it, maybe you should require, and then it'll look just like the front that was part of the streetscape plan.
Correct.
It was done by the town, it'll look great. You know, it's up to the board.
Yeah, the sidewalk's been like that for as long as I can remember.
Right, through flooding, through everything.
Right, so, I mean, I have no problem replacing the sidewalk. You can get the curb cut and everything else done.
I mean, it makes sense, and anytime anyone ever comes in here and says, looking to get a car off of the street, I mean, that's amazing, and that's what we want, so, at least that's what I want. So that's good to hear. Okay.
There might be mechanicals, there are mechanicals in that room. That would be
The
moved.
only mechanical that would
Heaters,
remain in there would just be the hot water heater for houses, everything else will be upstairs.
and it's gas.
It's gas.
So you'll have to do things with bollards and the code requires certain things to make sure if you have a gas appliance adjacent to a car, there's certain things that have to be done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can always move that hot water heater too out of there if I have to.
that would probably be better.
The path least resistance.
Yeah,
I mean, the
probably.
condition of approval is gonna have to be that meets your approval, you know.
Well, it's actually building department, but I'm just bringing it up because I had the same problem after mine.
Okay. Great, that's all I have.
Anyone else have any questions of the witness?
Just a quick question. It doesn't show up here, but on these cards, which were very helpful, by the way, is it your intent to include the railing? Because aesthetically, it looks very nice.
That's the way we're planning on having the upstairs level.
It doesn't show up on the plan, which is fine, but your intent is to do it.
Correct.
So, sorry, just to go back to the garage. On the existing first floor plan, that entire utility room, will that become the garage space, or are you going to change the space inside at all?
No, it's just the size of it is just, I think it's 12 by 22. It's going to remain that way.
Okay. And it'll just be utilized by you for the garage?
By me, correct.
Are you redoing the whole storefront or just everything south of the front?
I'm sorry, John, what's that?
Are you redoing the whole storefront or just from door of Alice to south? Like the picture,
No, we're doing it.
That's what I mean.
looks like
They're not changing anything.
looks like
About elevation?
the windows all look different from last.
Down the first floor?
Yeah.
That's just a rendering. I'm not changing it. The windows are brand new. I put them in with Sandy, after Sandy.
Anyone else?
So right now, upstairs is one,
Right now, it's a 3-bedroom apartment upstairs now. But it's just a horrible layout. I don't know what my father was thinking when he did it. And, so you can't live up there. I mean, I have 3 tenants living up there, but it's not great.
so I have a question which really has nothing to do with the plans, but since you're doing work, did you ever think of doing something about the one bathroom for the whole 3 stories on the bottom? Since you are doing some building improvements?
I have actually. So right now Alice has 2 bathrooms in hers. The hair salon has a bathroom that she shares with the tenants only of Pliables. Because when Pliable moved in, that was the stipulation. They couldn't have a public restroom because there's no seating.
Right.
But my plan is to put a bathroom in Josephine's store and then let Pliables use the 3rd bathroom that's in the hallway.
So that's not part of this application.
No.
It's not part of the
I know,
application.
just a
but-
question.
No, there are going to be plans for other renovations.
So there are 2 bathrooms that are not shown on the architect's A2 plan, but they're there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's 3 bathrooms total on the first floor.
It's one in the hallway and then 2 in the houses.
Correct.
I thought there was one in the hallway.
Yeah, so they used to use the laundromat, and the laundromat was there.
It shows the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
The
ahead.
plan you submitted here, A2, only shows one bathroom on the whole first floor. They should be included in the plan.
I think you put it in, the bathrooms?
Yes, they did that.
Only see one.
We can update the plans to show the garage and the first floor and the bathrooms.
Please.
Yes.
What's the plan to show what actually we got
We're not,
and what's proposed?
we were planning on making any changes to the first floor.
So if this is approved, we have to add that to the, that they have to submit the plans with those changes. Okay, including the part.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Our next witness is Kevin Roy.
Is there any, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for purposes of this application? Okay, please state your name, your profession, and
I'm Kevin Roy. I'm the architect on this project. I have my architecture degree from Miami University, and I've been an architect for 30 years.
In the state of New Jersey.
New Jersey, yes. And also Ohio.
Without any objections from the board, we'll accept your credentials.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Kevin, can you take the board through the, we'll get some start with the elevations.
Sure.
And then can you take the board through the plans?
First, I want to say thanks to Steve for giving a great architectural presentation and answering all your questions. But I'd be happy to answer any additional ones and clarify. So here we have the first floor, showing the 3 units on the ground floor, which Steve described. No changes are anticipated to be made to those units. And in the rear is the utility room that now we've proposing to add the garage bay in.
what is the size of that? That's my question.
Yeah, it's 13 by 22. So it has enough room for one car. If you make an opening in this wall, this is okay. This is okay for everybody? Can you see it?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
And you would say you're gonna include the bathroom locations for these downstairs?
Yeah, if there's, we'll have to show the bathroom in that other unit towards the rear. Right.
I don't see any shared bathroom, only one analysis, or that's considered a shared one.
We can update the plan showing this, garage bay, if there's no objections or any other things that you need to see, including the toilet rooms. Right.
Yeah, because if you're gonna add toilets over there, you're gonna have to show that on the building plan.
Can I speak for a second? When the building only originally had 2 bathrooms in it, that was used by everybody. After Sandy, Alice, we had to put another bathroom in that was ADA compliant, which is why we added the second bathroom. All the other bathrooms were just in the hallway. So that's just the way it's been forever.
Steve, I think we just want to see what it looks like now.
Oh, okay.
Because there's only one bathroom on there, and we know there's more than one, so we just need to add it wherever it is.
Okay. The entrance to the second floor unit is through this rear, off the alleyway, this rear entrance, and the staircase going up. That's going to remain as it is. And then the access from the utility room, which would then be the garage, will be into a center hallway then out the back, so it's not accessible to the residential unit above. So we're in the second floor. Right now we have the whole area along this side, which is the existing apartment, which is in need of renovation. We're going to take that apart, move some things around, and add on to the front part of the roof deck with a great room and a new bedroom. So we'll be upgrading from 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms, and some utility rooms to the back, and the staircase coming up from the downstairs here into the dining area. This rear area facing the side street will just be as it is with the mechanical units that are there now. The staircase going up to the 3rd floor, or the attic area, is going to be open.
Can I just stop you for a minute? Can you show on the plan, because right now, there's walls between the existing space and the new space, and I'm assuming you're going to take some of those walls down so it's all connected. Can you?
Well, the shaded walls are actually the new walls.
Right.
And these walls here are going to be, with actually the only opening will be this area here. We're taking the exterior wall out to
Okay.
get into the great room.
Yeah, that was, so this will be gone.
Yes, this is a step up into the new great room and additional spaces.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure you could get it.
It'll be on 2 levels, so you said a step up.
Yeah, we think we're going to have to raise it up a little bit for structural reasons.
Mhm. You won't have to put any columns in for structural reasons down below?
No, I think we're going to be able to support the roof on bearing walls here, and there's an existing bearing wall here that go into the first floor.
Okay, so you're using the bearing walls on the first floor to support the second floor wall?
Yeah, there's also steel beams. Well, there's the 2 units on the left side have floor joists going from left to right, and then the restaurant has steel beams over it, which will have to somehow support onto that.
Construction details aren't all part of it.
Yeah, no, what I was going towards is whether they're going to compromise any of the areas down below and make the restaurant smaller, or the other restaurant smaller, or the hair salon smaller.
No, we don't think we'll be able to package anything on the ground floor.
Okay, thank you.
So the third floor, or rooftop, consists of basically a stairwell that's open to this rooftop room, which is not going to be anything but just access way to get onto the front deck, which we think will be very nice with the views of the third floor of the ocean and the water.
How big is the access way up there?
This room itself is 15 and a half feet by 13 feet.
So you're not going to use anything other than access?
I think Steve's wife said at some point you'd make a nice study, but it's open to the stairwell, so it's kind of an open room.
It's going to be a good spot to store all your furniture in the winter that's left on the deck.
That's true.
From the deck.
The areas over the existing, the rooftop of the existing building is not going to be changed, just kind of cleaned up and re-roofed. And we're going to have to tear off the roof on the left side of the building, on the right side of the building, and replace all that. So that'll be the tricky part, really. But the result is going to be, and I think you'll see when you see the nice exterior elevations and the perspective views, is a much more attractive building. It's not a very loud building. It's a little understated, but it's got much nicer materials now. Right now we have something in need of renovation. And so I think the result's going to be a much more attractive building for the street, for your town. And then I have front elevations. There's a street view. There's a question about the sidewall here, which is the angled wall going to the back, the windows that are existing there now.
So that was a comment in one of the letters. They wanted to know what these narrow slats were.
Yeah.
And what are these exactly? Can you just confirm?
Well, this wall here goes back at an oblique angle, so you see it kind of not straight on. So these windows appear to be there.
So they're actually normal windows?
There's side windows that are normal.
Yeah, you're just showing them as you would see them from the street.
From the front.
They're not lights shining out.
That was my question.
As for the guardrails, I think Steve's going to use some of the best materials he can, because it's going to be his personal residence. It's got high quality standards, and so we're thinking of some kind of nice metal handrails, not PVC or anything less expensive looking. As for the siding, we're thinking of a nice quality vinyl siding, and then the colors you can see on the respective rendering. Do you have any respective rendering?
What's that?
Would you like to There's a view of the front street, the guardrails. Again, it's an understated but attractive look. I think it's in keeping with your town.
Just a quick question, maybe I'm not seeing this clearly.
Yeah.
But on that little room upstairs, are there railings on top of that one as well? On the
Here, this is the rooftop deck. Yeah.
Yeah, but that looks like it's higher than the rooftop deck.
The rooftop deck railing is here. And what's this?
Oh, this here right here?
Is that just decorative or is?
It's another rooftop deck.
Yeah, is there a rooftop deck on top of the rooftop deck?
No, that's
For my family.
That's what that looks like.
It does look like that, doesn't it?
So
Looks
how do
like
you,
the,
how do you
Yeah, you can
access
see it
that?
there.
Yeah.
It's set back from
I think
the front.
the person who prepared the perspectives did a little creative kind of addition to our.
Yeah, so it's not really clear whether or not that uppermost area is a deck or it's not.
Well, it could be decorative. I didn't plan for a staircase there. Steve?
There's nobody's even up here, correct?
Well, if I can utilize it, I will, with a spiral staircase on the inside.
We'd have to see that, right?
Yeah, that's not on the plan.
Yeah, that's on the plan. Well, I mean, I can always, I've got to come back to the board to prevent that, but.
I mean, that's why else would you have railings?
Well, decorative.
How about you showing the camera that they're using the screen, but they're not doing that?
And also the architectural elevations don't have those railings in them, so I think we would need to know what the height of the building is with that railing.
Does the engineer have any objections to using a rooftop on the 4th story?
I know the board has in other applications not thought that was a good idea on some buildings because of the fact that you're overlooking everybody in the area.
So this is, of
It's
course,
really up to the board.
conditional upon your approval
The rail would be 3 feet high, probably.
for a guardrail for, yes.
Yeah.
So I asked-
And then there would be what, circular stairways are what, 6 foot diameter? So there'd have to be a 6 foot diameter or something in front of that
Stairwell getting up to that.
to get up to it.
It's just very different than your portrait.
The drawing?
Well, you don't show a stairway going up there in your request. I know that. There's no stairway going up to the.
I wasn't anticipating having a staircase to the 4th floor now.
I'm sorry?
I wasn't anticipating having a staircase to the 4th floor.
That's why I'm asking whether or not that's a deck.
The applicant has to decide.
Then if I can't do it, I can't do it.
I'm not saying, but it's just not.
No, I know that. Well, I know because.
Kevin, the applicant has to decide what he wants to do, present it to the board, right?
Right,
So,
right.
So decide, see if the board likes it.
Mr. Cardell, the problem is it's not on the plans.
Right.
So I don't think I'm not hearing anyone saying we don't want you to be able to do it, but what we're saying is it's not on the plan, so it hasn't been evaluated by the professional.
I have a proposition. If the board were inclined to approve our application, which primarily deals with several variances and the site plan changes, perhaps, I'd like to apply and make part of our application a staircase and access to this area, so long as it triggers no new variances and it meets with your engineer's approval during compliance.
I think it's important that you describe exactly where it is and what it's going to look like as best you can, so the board knows whether or not they want to approve it or not, and whether we need to go to another hearing, or if we can just do it as part of compliance.
Can we take 3 minutes to let the architect and owner
It's up to you.
discuss this? I'd like to, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we take a quick recess?
Let the record show the board's in recess for a few minutes. About this.
You can talk, but not about the application.
You can chit chat, but not about this. You can talk when they come back.
This month.
Yeah. No, I mean, even railing, Bruce is serving the city, and there's grounds over it, so
The good thing is
it's a flat thing. Different. Still, morning business.
Oh, the doors down.
Safety, all
So they couldn't stop the clients, they couldn't stop the bleeding. You give them more thin.
You give them one there, yeah.
It would enhance the brain bleeding.
She was in, when it was home.
Who is this?
Okay, so that part.
The one with the, one of my friends, we all did it.
Oh, yeah.
Rich and Karen. They live next to that house on the hill.
I know it is, yeah.
And where the surf school, they live right behind. On the flag.
How does that?
Solar comes in, you may know.
She passed it? Yes.
She did that, yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm glad.
Second.
It's on the plan. It's not easy to see. I told him 3 times and I told him to shut it. And I said, you need to put up the plan to either dim it or eliminate it. So that there's no light over the property line at all. But he said, okay. And then he shut it off. And then I said to him, and you have to do this before you get a CO. This is the hotel up north. And so I said, you gotta come up with something before you get a CO, because I will not release it without, you just coming up with something. It could be shields, it could be shut them off permanently, showing that there are no breakers, I didn't have a set of the plan, and I had to actually get Candace to give me a set. And I looked at it, and it had lines that you see. There were just single lines, like not like these. Yeah, but it had a number 12 on it, which went over the table and said like that. So it was kind of
Okay, welcome back.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have a good idea of what we want to do. So, Kevin, can you explain to the board what we just discussed?
So, before you want to do a roll call back on the market, please? Sorry, roll call?
Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilor Bieber.
Here.
Ms. Bills.
Yeah.
Mr. Cashmore.
Still here.
Jeff Cunningham.
Here.
Mr. Massaro. Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lexi.
Here.
Mr. Schwartz.
You didn't call me.
She did.
Oh, she did? I didn't say.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so in light of this new development for the 4th floor deck, I can see that this only increases the height of the building by 3 feet, and a staircase off to the side wouldn't increase it anymore. So we're still beneath the height requirements of the town. It's simply a 4th floor open space on top of the room beneath of it that will give them expanded views.
So to be clear, is that now also part of the application this evening?
We would present it to you as part of the application pending your approval of that.
Where would the stairs be? Would they be on that view outside, or would they be on?
It's fine, find out where they
Okay, yeah, where would we see them?
Yeah, the staircase is going to have to be.
Is there going to be an exterior circular stairs or interior?
I think exterior, because otherwise I have to enclose the top of it, and then it gets more complicated, right? So
Kevin, this is Ocean Ave down here, correct?
this is the corner that we're talking, right? So here's the upstairs, or the rooftop of the rooftop room is now going to be enclosed with a guardrail. So I'm assuming that we can probably get the staircase off to the side here. It's a 6-foot diameter staircase.
Oh, so it'll be exterior, that's what it says.
This how
I think so. We
It's
have.
on the exterior, but no one's going to see it because it's on the other side. It's not on the,
It's not on Church Street.
it's not on the street side.
You might see it from the boardwalk or a long distance,
Understood,
but
understood.
because of the angle.
You won't see it from Church Street.
Correct.
And it's set back quite a bit from Ocean Ave.
Oh, yeah, it's
You won't see it from
40 feet practically from the
Yeah.
front with that limiter.
So it'll be south of the room that is not to be used for anything.
Yes, I think towards the.
That's the southeast corner, what's the name of that upper room? Rooftop room. Okay, so the southeast corner, southeast exterior corner of the rooftop room.
And it'll
We need
extend,
something on the record, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
and it'll extend no higher than the 3-foot rail that you're proposing on the renderings.
The perimeter of that room, right?
So that would only be access to the rooftop deck,
From the rooftop deck up to there, correct?
from the rooftop deck to the other
Well,
rooftop.
from this lower deck up to the upper fourth deck, correct? Only way to get there.
So it'll be a
We
6-foot
need to
diameter.
call it a deck, not a room, because it's open air. It's not, there's no roof over it.
This? This area
That's the room, what you're talking about, the roof of that room, that's gonna be a
will
deck.
be a deck, correct?
Yeah, I just want to clear it up so everybody knows what it is.
So in summation, it'll be a 6-foot diameter, circular stairway, steel, made of steel, painted,
Steel painted, correct?
that will extend no higher than the rooftop decks rails, which are 3 feet.
Is 3 feet good? You want to be 42 on the third?
Is it 42?
And
Okay.
all the other ones
So
are 42,
42.
41 and one on the third.
It still isn't a height problem.
Correct,
Yeah.
just saying it's.
Yeah, for commercial, we go.
Yeah. 4 feet sounds
I
better.
think 42 inches.
42 sounds better.
That's what you have on the rest of your guardrails.
Well, I'm sure it's code.
42 is, that's code,
I
then
think that's good.
that's what we did.
And that's still in around the height, so that's.
Okay, so moving on to a couple other points from the letters. Can you discuss how trash is being stored prior to being collected? And is that you want Jennifer to talk
I
about?
think site engineering.
Okay, we'll save that for Jennifer. Is there any change to signage being proposed as part of this application?
For the ground floor units, no.
Okay, for anything?
No signage
No signage.
as part of this application.
And can you just describe any lighting that's being proposed in conjunction with this?
Well, we're gonna have exterior lights illuminating the doors on the rooftop areas and then on the front deck areas.
Those are residential type lights?
Residential downlights, so not really illuminating floodlights. So each deck will have small unobtrusive lights just to light the deck area, immediate deck.
In the ceiling of the decks.
Recessed lights, yeah.
Will there be lights on the deck that's in line with the upstairs room, or are there any lights on the
On the
top
floor
deck? Yeah,
We're not proposing that.
none, okay. Just a light above the door like you have to have.
Just lay at the egress door, right?
I don't have any further questions. Of course, the board will ask any other questions you may have.
Just some clarification, just to be 100% certain, and I would realize that that view is not perfectly in line with your plans.
Correct.
Because on that, it shows the railing covering the entirety of the floor.
Yes, he went to the sides with the
You went all the way to sides, but that's not your intent, to have a rooftop deck that's the entirety.
entire roof, correct.
Okay. It's in line with what you have on A4.
Well, our plan shows just the rooftop deck being extended to the front. It's a little bit wider than the rooftop room.
Right.
Yeah. So these areas will just be roofing.
Your elevations on A4 would clearly show where the railing does not extend all the way.
Yes, just the width.
Just the width of that.
That's why I asked the question before. There's 3 different versions of railings in this picture.
Yeah, I'll try to make it very, very clear because I understand why you're asking these questions. To the extent of any discrepancies between the pictorial rendering and the architectural elevations, the architectural elevations control, okay? But
With the exception of the fact that you're fencing in
But for the testimony concerning the top line.
And putting the spiral staircase.
Right.
And the garage door.
And the garage door was done. So see, you know what I'm saying, it's, you know.
So we just encapsulate it right there. But yes, I understand.
We have to be careful because we have too many situations where the architect comes back with a revised set of plans and it's different than what we looked at.
Right. And that's why I think,
Not
you know,
include everything now.
it's good that we're being extremely clear about this now. that we can. So I agree with you. We have to be very, very clear on the record.
Before we act on it tonight, but before we act on it further, should we have the updated revised plans?
Well, that's actually what we discussed last meeting, so
Yes,
absolutely.
that's what I'm thinking, that, you know.
We did discuss that, and you said were pretty adamant that you wanted to see it before we approved it because of those reasons, because people are making changes post-approval, and they're not being called out to our professionals. They're kind of sliding them into your Vino, so to speak. So the board had discussed last meeting that, you know, amendments that are stated on the record be drawn, be brought back to be approved. So we know that's a bit of a delay, but that's what we discussed. So that's what you want. Yeah.
Before memorialization.
Before final approval.
Okay.
So it would be.
I thought we ended in the fact that as long as it was stated in the minutes that the engineer, when he reviews it to sign it off, would be able to identify each one.
Well, they're always stated in the resolution.
Yeah.
The problem is
I'd
that we're
like
being
to see
changed that.
revised
Okay.
plans.
No,
You know.
Whatever you want, I'll do it either way. I'm
There's
just
a lot of discrepancies, you know, we should show the curb cut on the site plan, right? Show the overhead door, show the counters in the garage.
And I don't want to come off as pushy at all, but I would just, I would just ask rhetorically or not, are those details necessarily details that the board might have one opinion or another on the application itself based on the curb cuts, or is that more?
If maybe I can explain what I was alluding to or what I meant, and that is that if we voted on the application tonight, but before we approved the resolution, we had everything updated.
We could definitely be happy.
That's what I was, you understand what I was saying, that's what
I thought you wanted to come back and hold them up.
No, that's what I'm saying, why we can vote on the application tonight, but before we vote on the resolution, have everything updated.
We could definitely do that and submit 10 days prior, so that you can review them. And
I don't have a problem with looking at it and making sure that they conform with what your resolution says. I do it all the time.
And do that before we memorialize it.
Yeah, because this is nothing, as Mr. Sadi just said, this isn't anything that they're gonna come in with something and go, oh, okay, we need to see that first. I was not for that. Not that I think it's on this one.
it's a judgment, you will make those judgments all the
I
time.
think your big concern, Dave, originally was property lines changed and
No,
setbacks changed.
No, they would actually change some of the structure and interior design, and all of a sudden it had something else.
More bedrooms than you thought you were getting. And
Because you come in with very preliminary plans and then not the final plans, and
Yeah.
then we're signing off on it, and sometimes it slides through that, oh, they added this, they added that.
yeah. And we're not looking or attempting to do that.
I see no reason to not finish the application.
Yeah.
I know.
But I put it on.
But we can definitely do that, and happy to, resubmit the plans. If the board were inclined to approve our application this evening, we could resubmit, the plans for, the board's review and the engineer's review, so that when you do, adopt a resolution, you have that assurance.
Before we memorialize the resolution.
Right.
In regard with the rendering, that's a situation we should probably ask them to withdraw the rendering.
Yeah, let's get rid of the rendering because it's doing nothing
It's
but
not part of the application anymore, and then it'll never be looked at in the future. Tell them to take it home.
It was helpful.
We'd like to excise the rendering.
Well, I would say to go ahead with your application. Continue.
I think there should just be a notation in the resolution that I don't know if you can remove it from the file, so it should be a notation that the renderings are not accurate.
And the architectural.
The architectural
Control, got it.
Yeah.
It's already in there.
Understood?
Okay.
Anybody on the board have questions of the witness? Additional questions?
What involved in each testimony or at the end?
Well, we can do it at the end.
I would do public questions.
For each witness? Okay. Is there anyone in the public that has a question about the witness's testimony or a question? If not, the public portion is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I call Jennifer White.
Put that one on the chair too.
It's okay, the chair work. It's okay, the chair Okay, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for purposes of this application?
Yes.
Can you please state your name and your credentials for the record?
My name is Jennifer White. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering in 2014. I've been a licensed professional engineer by the state of New Jersey for 3 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you speak up just a touch more? I'm getting old and don't have a hearing aid.
Sure.
Jennifer, can you just briefly, this is obviously more of an architectural application than a site plan due to the existing layout, but would you take the board just briefly through the site itself and give them a little bit of a overview of that?
The site currently has a 2-story building. It has businesses on the ground floor and on the top floor. It has a residence, 3-bedroom residence. The businesses on the ground floor are going to remain, and the residence on the second floor is going to be expanded to include a 4th bedroom and then a 3rd story with a deck.
And of course, the testimony you just heard with the rooftop deck, one level up,
Yes.
correct? So, inasmuch as the application doesn't really implicate too much, traditional site plan features, I wanted to take you through a few points in the letters, just to be responsive to the professional letters. So I want to start with paragraph 2 of the engineering review letter. Is there a need for a loading dock or area in conjunction with this plan?
So currently, the loading and unloading on site is done through the alleyway in the back. All loading on and unloading is done through the rear of the building. And that is not going to change with the application. So I don't see a need for a designated loading area on site.
Okay. Paragraph 4B of now on the planning review letter, it discusses the standards for loading berths. Does this project indicate the need for a loading berth?
No, it does not have 10,000 square feet of gross leasable area. But all the uses are small in size and they all handle their loading and unloading individually.
Okay. And are you familiar with how trash is currently being collected from the site?
Yes, so there are refuse containers in the back alleyway. The tenants use both Seabright and private haulers to remove their refuse.
Okay. Other than those points, were there any paragraphs of the engineering technical review letter or the planner's review letter that the applicant otherwise couldn't comply with? You want to discuss parking? Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So currently, there's no parking on site. The applicant is required to provide 23 parking spaces. Currently 0 are provided. Per the previous testimony, the applicant is providing 1 parking space for the residential use.
Let's ask about that. I mean, obviously you can't provide parking, it's not gonna happen, but with that parking space that you're putting with the garage, is there a possibility, going back to Dave's point, that you won't be able to put in the garage if the utility company doesn't let you? Or Steve, I don't know if you know, I mean, do you think it's a foregone conclusion that there's room in there to get that garage in there?
Is there room to put a car back in there?
Yeah, get the garage in, because I know Dave, you had indicated that if there's it's a utility room now.
Correct.
Are you 100% positive? I don't want to see this resolution say that this is dependent upon you putting in a garage. If there's a possibility that you can't get a garage, the utility company won't let you. Or there's some sort of structural reason that you
Well,
can't.
I mean, just a good point, but before you answer, logically speaking though, you know, it's not really gaining a parking space. All he's doing is putting in an interior space. You're still losing the space on the street anyway, or a parking space would be anywhere, so it doesn't really make a difference if there's a garage or not. I don't think so.
True, but I just don't, what my point is, I just don't want to see I don't want to see the resolution say somehow having it that this is dependent upon the garage, and that's part of the project, and why are they putting it in, so it's not really efficient. It's my own point. I just want to make sure that you're positive you can get this garage there.
So did you have discussions with the utility company about?
Yeah, I spoke to Howard Gray is the guy at New Jersey Natural Gas. He's the guy that told me that they want everything on the outside of the building. So they're going to be responsible for moving the service for me. There's stuff that I got to pay for the plumber, but as far as the meter and everything.
All the meters are inside the garage, should be outside the garage.
No, but the main feed line comes right out of the ground, right in front of the middle of that garage. The gas company's actually gonna have to relocate that.
Yes.
They've already
As long as they're willing to do it,
They've
fine.
already told me they're going to do
So
it.
you'll have to shut down the building at that, well, you know how to do it. That period of time for them to relocate it.
Right.
So the kitchen won't have gas.
No, I think it's great, again, I think it's great you can do it, I just don't think you should make the application dependent upon you doing it in case there is an issue.
So you'll hear from our planner, who will, I think, take an effort to justify the variances that we're requesting without having to rely on the creation of a single on-street parking space. So if the board were inclined to approve this, the board might be able to do so without relying on the creation of the space. Although we do feature that as part of the plans, we don't necessarily offer that as a justification for a variance. Just to give you some wiggle room there.
I would just, I mean, the rest of the board, okay, I would just suggest that for the purposes of the resolution, that there be something in it that the garage is to be installed if possible, and that the failure to be able to put in the garage is not going to is not going to kill the resolution. I mean, kill the application. If you understand what I'm saying. Does everybody get that?
Mm-hmm. I did.
That's it. That just saves you the problem.
That's a very good idea. That's a good.
I don't want you to have to come back here.
Right. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't have any other direct questions.
I just have one additional note on the planning letter. I think the engineer could probably address. In item 4A, it talks about a buffer strip. Could you just provide testimony regarding any existing buffer or any proposed buffer improvements?
There's currently no buffer, and we're not proposing a buffer strip.
Okay.
Just so I can be clear, because I can't read it, the dark shaded orange area, that's the new second floor, third floor area?
Yes.
And everything else is existing footprint?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And just for the record, the reason that we're not providing any buffer strip as part of this application is?
There's no room for 15.
Just for the purposes. I don't have any other questions unless any members of the board.
Board members? Anyone in the public have a question of the witness? That or testimony? If not, the public portion is closed. Thank you.
Okay, next is, and finally, is Barbara Eames.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for purposes of this application?
Yes, I do.
Can you please state your name and your professional credentials for the record?
My name is Barbara Allen. My last name is spelled E-H-L-E-N. I'm a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey and an AICP. I've worked at Beacon Planning since 2008, and I've worked my way up to project manager. I have been accepted as an expert throughout New Jersey, including...
Can I move that we accept it?
No,
He's overqualified.
With no objection from the board.
We wonder how many years you've been married.
We will accept your credentials.
Thank you. So this evening, obviously, we're here for the renovation of an existing structure. It is located within the B1 Central Business District, and the use is permitted. The master plan actually envisions mixed use in these areas with upper floor residential. It does add a vibrancy to the downtown. Just to go through, I just wanted to make sure we had all the variances on the record. Minimum rear yard setback, 15 feet required, where 0.1 feet over the property line exists and is proposed to remain at the parcel southwest corner. Maximum lot coverage where 75% is permitted, where 100 exists and is proposed. Maximum building coverage, 50% permitted, where 91.11 exists and is proposed. Minimum front yard setback, 0 feet permitted, where 0.6 feet over the property line exists and is proposed. Parking, 23 spaces required, where 0 exists and is proposed, and 1 space possibly proposed within the garage. And buffering of 15 feet wide required to the west, but is not provided or proposed. As been testified to, the structure is an existing building, and these setbacks are existing conditions that will not be exacerbated by the proposed application. The addition to the second floor and the third floor will respect the building footprint as it stands today and will not intrude over into any property lines. It will not follow the existing first floor footprint over those lines. It is in a commercial corridor of the community. To the north is a house of worship, while to the east is municipal parking. To the south is another commercial use, and to the west are single-family homes, although they are also 3-story in character, having been raised to meet the flood elevations. The proposed use as a 4-bedroom apartment, or residence in this case, is a permitted use, and does not exacerbate, as I said, any of the previously stated variances. Unsurprisingly, the master plan does not necessarily specifically address this kind of situation, but it does note that the central business district was intended to permit a pedestrian-friendly, mixed-use, traditional Main Street character. And this is evidenced by the application for investing in an existing mixed-use structure. With respect to the municipal land use law, I would opine that it provides sufficient space in an appropriate location, as this use is envisioned here, and hence to encourage coordination of the various public and private procedures and activities shaping land development with a view of lessening the cost of such development to more efficient use of land. The structure exists, the use is envisioned in the zone, and it's an appropriate place for it. With respect to the bulk variances, the variances requested qualify under C1, which is a hardship, as everything is an existing condition and we are not exacerbating same. The one exception may be considered the parking. As was noted, 23 spaces are required where 0 exists and are proposed. Interestingly enough, the township's or the community ordinances only require 2 spaces per dwelling unit. So as this is a single dwelling unit, the same parking count would be required under local ordinances. It's recess that would require an extra half a space in connection with the 4th bedroom. It's my professional opinion that this is a de minimis increase in this area, and actually the proposed application represents an improvement over existing conditions. The existing unit is rented by 3 separate people. It's not a family using that. So by renting one family, it's actually a reduced demand on the parking.
And that would be the addition of the pool that's going to be a 1-family residence.
So it is for those reasons that I feel that the application has met the burden of proof and that the application can be approved as it is presented.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board members have questions?
No.
Not anyone in the public have a question on the testimony? of the witness? If not, public portion is closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, that is our application.
Thank you, Mr. Sadi. Discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I just, Mr. Chairman, just a question I have maybe for Dave. So Dave, I don't know what happened during Sandy with regard to the reconstruction of these buildings, but we heard that it's going to be built on existing barrier walls. Do we have any situation or risk that could exist that when the walls are looked at, that there's something in there that structurally would cause a problem supporting the second floor?
That's up to the building.
The building department's gonna look at it. The architect has to provide the plans. It's his responsibility to make sure it's not gonna be a structural problem. There's nothing the board has, is it?
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I just have one thing. It sounds like they're going from 3 units on that residential floor to 1.
Going from what?
3 units. He said he had apartments,
It's gonna be a single family.
to a single family. I just like,
No, it was
Three bedroom to 4 bedroom.
1 unit, 3 bedrooms.
so it was 1 unit.
It was 1 unit.
I'm sorry.
All right, just, I'd like to clarify that point. It's currently a single family. It's not a 3-family. There's no 3 units. There's just 3 tenants that live there.
Okay.
It's not 3 dwelling units.
I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah, I understand.
It's 3 people.
3 people that live as a single
Yeah.
household.
Right.
That's what.
Okay, I just was concerned about possible change in the sewer use and then a sewer fee that would have to be charged. Sounds like it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
I just want to clarify one thing before we actually vote. We decided that they're going to comply with our requests for the changes and the ones they propose, and we're going to vote on it tonight, and then we're going to review it at the memorialization that they complied with it. Is that the way we?
Yeah, they're gonna have the plans in that they're looking at it prior to us voting on the resolution.
Okay.
But the resolution's gonna be done, so.
They will be provided with copies to you.
Yeah.
And I'll do a letter prior to the meeting.
Well, he's offered to have them 10 days before the resolution.
We can get them to you 10 days before. I don't, unless maybe Candace lets me know otherwise, but I don't anticipate that you'll need us to appear that night. Is that correct? Okay.
Unless you sneak something up.
No, we will try not to.
So I'll second the motion.
You'll get a call if there's an issue.
Okay, that's good.
I'll second the motion.
Who's the first one?
I made the motion.
Mr. Epstein.
Ready, Councilman Bieber?
Yes.
Ms. Bills?
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Lexi?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Good to see you guys again.
Nice to see you.
I'll try not to get lost next time.
Steve, it'll be nice to have you back to see. Are you actually gonna move for 330 here? Yeah, that's fine, okay. I mean, I couldn't put my house in the market until we had. Of course, of course. So, yeah.
Okay. On to review of the ordinance for the redevelopment plan. Everybody should have received copies. Any discussion?
So, our office found this ordinance to be consistent with the master plan, in particular, the vision statement for Seabright to be comprised of attractive and strong neighborhoods with homes that are resilient to coastal flooding and storm events. And we think that, these parcels were always supposed to be in the redevelopment plan. They were just kind of left out for whatever reason. So this is, from a planning perspective, it's consistent with your master plan.
So what does is add to the properties?
Right, that's all it's doing. That would kind of just like donut holes in the overall redevelopment.
And the ordinance is supported with a resolution that would just memorialize what we had, supported the amended use, so that's really what this is, just a formal statement.
Agreed. and we need to.
I'll find a motion to find consistent with the master plan.
And I was going to do it by letter, because it's just consistency determination, so it's not really a true resolution, it's just more whether they need by the 20th, so if we do just need consistency letter.
I made a motion that it found it consistent with the master plan.
Yeah, we need a vote to
Yes.
approve sending the letter to the government.
Right. Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Cashman?
Yes.
Mayor Kanye?
Yes.
Chairman Museo?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence? Yes. Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Carrie, is there any other business before the board this evening? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.